Okay, so here we go with part two, and on the back side, um, we have some multiplying binomials, and what I would be doing, you might have a different method, it works for whatever. I have 5x and minus 2, x plus 4. Looks like I wrote too big, but that's okay. 5x times x would be 5x squared. Negative 2 times x would be negative 2x. 5x times the 4 would be 20x. And then 4 times negative 2 would be negative 8. So then I can take a look that, okay, I have 1x squared. I have my x's. And then I have this. So when I put them together, I end up with 5x squared plus 18x and then minus 8, and that would be my final answer. So let's take a look. This one, again, I'm going to use this even though it looks like, oh, it should just be squared on each part, but really I've got binomial to work with there. So 2x times 2x would be 4x squared. 5 times 2 would give me 10x, and same thing here, 10x. And then 5 times 5 would give me 25. When I put everything together, I end up with 4x squared plus 20x, because we can put those together so they don't disappear, plus 25. And that would be my answer for that one. For the third one, again, I'm going to draw my box. You might have a different method, whatever works for you. X plus 5 and 3x minus 15. So now I can do my 3x squared and 15x when I multiply those. And I have negative 15x. Whoops, I forgot the 1. And negative 75. So negative 15 and positive 15 disappear. So we end up with just 3x squared minus 75. And that would be our answer. All right, so we've got some exponent things going on here. And starting out with some division here, so I can just take this and make that 3. X cubed minus x squared would be x to the first, and y to the negative 3 minus 2 would be y to the negative 5, but we aren't going to leave it that way. These right here have to go down, so we're going to end up with 3x over y to the 5th, and yes, that is my answer. This next one, 8 goes into 96 12 times, so that's going to disappear and become 12. A to the 8th minus the 2nd is going to be a to the 6th. And then I don't have any b's at the top, but if I had b to the 0 here, minus the negative 2, I'm going to end up with b to the positive 2. And so this, I don't have any negatives at this point, so this right here would be my answer. All right, 16 over 4 is going to become 4. X to the 4th minus the 6, I'm going to have x, not a. I don't know why I was writing that. So x to the negative 2, and then y to the 5th, because 8 minus 3 would be that. Well, this x to the negative 2 has to go down, so I'd have 4y to the 5th all over x squared, because those go down from there. All right, number 20. By the way, we skipped some other numbers in there. I think you probably saw that. These are multiplying. So, and I don't have any exponents on the outside, so really I'm just multiplying my big and adding my exponents. So I'd have negative 8, because negative 2 times 4, x squared, because x times x, and then y to the 7th, because I would add the 3 and 4. If I wrote them all out, I'd have 7 of them there. Number 21, there are no whole numbers or big numbers to multiply, so I'm just going to look at my x, y's, and z's. I've got x to the 6th, because remember there's a 1 there, so we'd have 6. Y to the negative 2, because 2 plus negative 4 would be negative 2. And z to the 6th, but we can't have any negatives, so they've got to go down. So my answer is going to end up being x to the 6th, z to the 6th, all over y squared. And that would be my answer. All right, last one on this row. I have big ones, so I'm going to multiply the 9 and the 4 to get 36. A to the 6th, because I would add my exponents, and b to the 4th. I don't have any negatives, so that is just my answer there. Okay, exponents on the outside. And if you're not sure, write it out. So what this means is I have negative 4a squared b to the 3rd, and I have it twice. Well, now I've got one just like from before. So negative 4 times negative 4 is a positive 16. A to the 4th, which I could have just multiplied the 2 and the 2, and b to the 6th, where I could have multiplied the 2 and the 3. So my answer is going to be that one. This one, okay. Well, I can list it out, but what that really means is I have negative 6 times negative 6 times negative 6. Being I have 3 negatives, I know my answer is going to end up being negative. And if I take out my calculator, 6 times 6 times 6 is 216. So I have negative 216 for the 6 to the 3rd power. I'm going to have x to the negative 6 because I'm going to multiply negative 2 times the 3. And I have y to the 15 because 5 times 3. Here's the deal. I can't have a negative exponent. Now, a negative whole number is fine. So that's going to stay up on the top, negative 216 y to the 15 all over x to the 6th. Okay, so that negative 216 doesn't move. It's just the negative exponent that we have to worry about. All right, and this one, I've got 1/2 times 1/2 times 1/2 times 1/2 because it's to the 4th power. 1/2 times 1/2 times 1/2 times 1/2. 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16. So I have 1/16. A to the 4th, because there'd be a 1 here, and I could take a to that. And then b to the 16th. So I don't need this 1 here. It's not wrong to have it, but really my answer is just going to be a to the 4th, b to the 16th, all over 16. All right, so 26. I've got some squareds and cubes on the outside and then going to go from there. So if I just focus on that right there, I'm going to have 16, a to the 4th, b to the 2nd. And then if I focus on this, I'm going to end up with negative 125 because negative 5 times negative 5 times negative 5 would be a negative. And then a to the 9th, b to the 9th. Remember, we're multiplying here. So now I'm going to take out my handy dandy calculator and multiply 16 times 125, which I'm trying to do here, is negative 2,000. I can just add my exponents now. So I have a to the 13th and b to the 11th. I have no negative exponents, so my answer just stays like that. Again, I've got parts here. So I've got this one to the 4th power. Well, 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, because it's to the 4th power, is 16. X to the 8th, because I'm going to multiply 2 and 4. Y to the 16th, because I'm going to multiply 4 and 4. And then Z to the 4th, because there's a 1 there, so 1 times 4. And then for this part, so I'm going to multiply. That will be a multiply in between. 4 to the 3rd. And so 4 to the 3rd is going to give me 64. 4 times 4 times 4. X to the 3rd, because there's a 1 there, and 1 times 3 would be that. Y to the negative 12, because negative 4 times 3 would be negative 12. And then Z to the 9th. Now I can put stuff together. So 64 times 16, I end up with 1,024. X to the 11th, because I can put those together. 16 and negative 12, I end up with y to the 4th and z to the 13th, because I'll just add those together. I have no negatives in my answer, so my answer is just 1,024, x to the 11th, y to the 4th, z to the 13th. Okay, so I'm only going to look at the numbers on this one to start with. I have a 2, and a 48, a 3, and a 90, or a 3 and a 16. you know, if I multiply those, I end up with 96 on top and 48 on the bottom. But those actually would simplify down to just 2, because 48 goes into 96 twice. So really my numerical part with the 2, the 48, the 3, and the 16 simplifies to 2. So if I look at my x's, if I combine what's here, I've got x to the 9th and y to the 7th on top. And here I would have x to the 12th, y to the 3rd on the bottom. Okay, so all I did was put together these and the top ones there. So now 9 minus 12, I would end up with x to the negative 3 and y to the 4th, because 7 minus 3. Well, that x to the negative 3 makes it go down. So the 2 doesn't, so it's going to stay on top. So does the y. And the x to the negative 3 just becomes x to the 3rd. So this would be my answer for that. Okay. So solving the systems of equations. This is back to where we were solving just using Desmos, which is fine to do as long as you get them correct. That's not a problem. So I'm going to jump over to Desmos and we'll take a look at these. So for the first one, I have y equals 15x plus 4. And for the second one, I have y equals 5x plus 34. Okay. So eventually, I think they're going to, yep, they're meeting. Looks like it's way up here. I had to adjust. So 3 and 49. So my solution for this would be 349. Okay. The next one, so I'm going to go ahead and just exit out of those. So the first one is 3x plus 2y equals 10, and then x plus y equals 5. And looks like we need to adjust. Looks like it meets right there on the y-axis, or yeah, the y-axis, so 0, 5 for this one. The third one, we have y equals negative 2x minus 4, and y equals x plus 5. Ooh, and it looks like it's right there. That's good. Negative 3, 2 is going to be our answer for that one. Negative 3, 2. And then finally, we have another one here. It looks like it has some decimals, but that's okay. We have Desmos that will work with us on that. I have 5x plus 1.7 y equals 25. And we have 1.7 y equals 3x minus 1. And our solution is right there of, make sure I typed it in right because that looks kind of weird. So yeah, I typed it in okay, so we're good. So 3 1/4 and 5.147. So 3 1/4, 3.25, and 5.147. Okay. All right, that should be it. Hopefully you'll be ready for the test. Okay, good luck.